Welcome to Around the House, sponsored by Romac Building Supply. I'm your host, Don Magruder. If you'd like to get more great homeowners tips, go to aroundthehouse.tv and subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our weekly newsletter. In this segment of Around the House, Amanda Kelley, the owner of Kelley Painting Services, is going to give us some tips for a long-lasting paint job. Now, if you're like me, you hate painting. It is a chore. Everyday homeowners are hiring and doing paint jobs themselves, and then the job comes out completely terrible. So today we're going to give you some great tips on how to make your next paint job successful. So with that, I'd like to introduce Amanda Kelley, the owner of Kelley Painting Service. Good afternoon, Amanda. How are you doing?
I am great, Don. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you here today. And Amanda, first off, take a few moments to tell us about Amanda Kelley and Kelley Painting Services.
Okay, Don. My name's Amanda Kelley. I'm the owner of Kelley Painting Services. I have been doing this for about 20 years here in Lake and Sumter County. I love it. I love paint. I love what it does for people. I love when people come in and they say their house has been transformed.
Now, I want to be clear. You're not just a do-it-yourself painter or a small paint company.
No.
You do lots of houses. You do lots of projects, commercial projects. You're a big painting company.
We are.
Yeah, because someone would look at you and say, well, she's not doing it, but you're a major painting contractor.
Well, I'm not a painter. I don't particularly paint. I am the owner of the business, and yes, we have painters. We run between 10 and 20 painters right now. We're always looking to hire more, but yes, for sure, we do commercial work, we do residential work, industrial work, school work.
If someone heard anything today on the show and they'd like to get more information from you, how can you be reached?
At area code 352-267-7854 or on our website at kelleypsfl.com.
Now, Amanda, give us the scopes of jobs that you work on. Do you do large jobs only, or do you do small jobs?
We do anything from a little bathroom remodel that someone has transformed their bathroom, put a new vanity in, to a whole house or commercial building. Currently, we have some nice projects in Lake County that are big commercial jobs that'll be coming up as well.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they hire a painting contractor to do a job?
Paying them up front.
Paying them up front. So you should never pay up front.
Never. A decent paint company would never ask you to pay up front.
What if so should they be required to pay for the paint up front?
No, unless if you're hiring a licensed and insured painting company, someone that has, employees underneath them, you would never need to give anybody a deposit. If you're hiring a one-man show kind of guy, then yes, you can ask them to pay for the paint and then just pay them for the labor. We're not like that. We are an all-inclusive. We pay for the paint, we pay for the labor.
But your recommendations, if anything's
Always.
paid up front, is you should buy the paint yourself.
Absolutely.
And hold the paint and not giving people the money for the paint.
Correct.
Now, a lot of people don't understand this, but in a painting job, labor is probably a bigger portion than the paint itself.
Absolutely.
And people want a good job, but they buy cheap paint.
Correct.
Talk to us a moment about the importance of buying good paint.
There's been a lot of talk of what is a good paint and what isn't a good paint. Honestly, I am a big proponent of not spending a lot of money on a gallon of paint.
Okay.
What needs to be told, though, is that you need to buy the right paint. The right paint would be 100% acrylic paint. And all the big companies sell it. Sherwin-Williams, Florida Paint, Lowe's, Home Depot, they all sell a good acrylic paint. As long as it's 100% acrylic, that's a good paint. Anything below 100% acrylic is you don't want to use, and anything that's $40 and over is just a waste.
So you think moderately priced paint is the way to go. Let's talk about some specific paint recommendations. A lot of people have stucco homes around here, and every day people are picking the wrong paint. Talk about the correct paint that should be used on a stucco home.
Typically, when I go out and I look at a job, whether it's a commercial job or a residential job, I'm looking at the whole building envelope, whether it's a house, whether it's a building, whatever it is, I'm looking at it from top to bottom. If there's cracks, if there's moisture coming in, if they have a lot of mold, if they have a lot of sprinkler systems, I like to look at the whole building envelope before I make a recommendation. But always, I'm going with 100% 100% acrylic paint. No matter what, I'm going to prime it first, and I'm always going to put a top coat of 100% acrylic. Depending on what the substrate looks like, if it hasn't been painted in 7+ years, I'm going to use a different primer, like an elastomeric primer, like we talk about a lot.
And that elastomeric primer is important because there's a few things in life true. You're going to die, you're going to pay taxes, and concrete's going to crack,
Absolutely.
including stucco.
Absolutely.
And that elastomeric paint, that stretches and keeps these hairline cracks.
Absolutely. It bridges all your cracks. So we caulk all those cracks, and then we use a really good elastomeric primer to sort of bridge that and fill in any of those gaps that they may have.
What do you use for interior walls and trim, Amanda? What do you recommend?
As far as paint goes, you know, you can get away with a cheaper paint inside. I wouldn't spend, you know, again, I'm not a big fan of spending more than $30 for a gallon of paint anywhere, whether it's inside or outside. There's a lot of really great paints out there that can be put on your wall. I mean, paint inside is like anything. You can change it yearly. And if you're spending $40 a gallon on a gallon of paint for inside, you're kind of going a little overboard.
Now, one thing you guys specialize in is painting and staining fiberglass doors
Yes,
to make
lots
them
of
look
those.
like wood. You do a lot of them out in the
We
village.
do.
Explain that real quick to us.
In the villages especially, most all the doors in the villages are what we call a thermo-true door that comes from Romac. The biggest downfall I think that I see in the villages for fiberglass doors and stained doors especially is they don't keep a clear coat, which Romac sells. If you keep that clear coat on your door, you'll never have to restain that door.
But it's amazing. You can take a fiberglass door and put a solid stain on it,
And it looks
just like
just
wood.
like wood. Just like wood.
So you redo doors all the
all
time.
the time. All the time.
And another part of great painting is having the right tools.
Absolutely.
You only use professional tools. What are your recommendations?
You know, since I'm not a painter, I kind of let my guys handle what they want, and they all have preference. It's like women in hair products. We all like our own hair products. It's guys with paint tools. They like particular nap rollers. They like a particular brush. Purdy is a really good brush. Corona makes a really good brush. As far as naps go, if you're going to be a do-it-yourselfer kind of person at home, you know, don't spend $20 on a roller cover. $5 is just enough because you're going to throw it away anyway.
Well, Amanda, we have a lot to discuss, so we're going to go to the Romac show and tell desk, and when we get back, we're going to look at some paints, some other products to help make sure you have a successful painting job. See you in just a moment. Welcome back to Around the House, and we're at the Romac Building Supply show and tell desk with Amanda Kelley. She's the owner of Kelley Painting Services. And Amanda, I thought you were a painter, not a house cleaner. What are all these cleaning products there for?
You know, I like to tell people and give my customer the best way to take care of their home after we've painted it,
Yep.
so they don't have to repaint in 10
Okay,
years.
so what do we have here?
Okay, so this is just a generic sort of mix of cleaning supplies that I like to tell people. I always get a bottle, just a regular spray bottle, and put these 3 products into it and spray it around your house for your mud daubers, your blind mosquitoes, your love bugs, and any dirt, mold, or mildew that may come up. Pressure washing your house is the biggest deterrent that's going to mess up your paint.
I've been told if you really want your paint to last long, keep your house clean.
Keep your house clean.
Dirt and grime is what destroys your paint. Is that true?
That is true, but not pressure washing. So we don't want to pressure wash every year. We only want to pressure wash about every 5 years and with a very low wash.
Now, I recognize this. This is a purdy brush, and real
It is purdy.
purdy, different. But real painters understand this is made out of
Horsehair.
horsehair. It's
Horsehair.
not like a vinyl brush.
No.
And this is actually a trim brush.
And it's angled, as you can see on the angle there. This is to get in some of those corners that are hard to reach and get a nice straight line.
But people can't understand why a professional painter can paint so much better than they can. Brush like this is $60 probably.
It'll range anywhere above $20 to $25, but a good brush is going to cost you, and it'll last you as long as you keep it clean. That'll last you 20 years.
Yeah, and you clean them and you don't throw them away.
Absolutely, yes.
Now this is what we call a heavy nap roller.
You got it.
Tell me what that's used for.
This is used for interior or exterior. A lot of professional painters like to have the knit rollers and not the microfiber rollers. These clean out really well, and these can be reused job after job, probably about 4 to 5 jobs. And these cost maybe $20, but they last a lot longer for a professional painter.
And that's the thing about the new acrylic paints. You can buy nice equipment, nice rollers and brushes. they'll wash out with soap and water.
Absolutely.
So even though you may pay $30 for a brush instead of $5, you're going to get a better job, but you can use it if you just wash it and clean it out.
And if you need to touch up at some point down the road.
That's caulk.
That is caulk. That's a
Now,
super important
Before you
part.
paint, you caulk, don't you?
We do. This is what we call a lifetime acrylic urethane elastomeric sealant. And this is what's used around all your windows, around all your cracks that you may have around your foundation where your doors meet the concrete to the driveway. This is really important to have this system first before you do any of this.
Now, you have some paint here.
Yes.
And that's the elastomeric
This
paint.
is your elastomeric primer.
That's important for stucco.
Very important.
Tell them once again why that's important.
Well, the elastomeric coatings typically have a little more stretchiness to them. The polymer is what's called the elastomeric. So it bends and it breathes with the Florida stucco, with the contraction and expansion when it gets hot or when it gets cold in the winter.
And what else do you have here?
This is just your typical 100% acrylic paint that we use, but this is kind of an interesting paint from Sherwin-Williams. This is what we call a moisture cure, so you can paint and still get rain within a couple hours, and it will still have your dry film. This is not my go-to all the time. These are my go-to because they're a little bit cheaper, but in the summertime in July and August when we need to paint, we can't stop production. This is kind of the paint that we're going to at this point.
I want to talk about colors just
Sure.
a minute. A lot of people make a mistake with colors. I know yellows and blues and some of your bold colors.
Mm-hmm.
They look one way on the chip, but once you put them on the wall, especially a
Right.
yellow, you say, oh my goodness. In fact, the rule of thumb on yellows, you always go 3 or 4 shades
Lighter.
Mm-hmm. How important is it for someone to get a little sample and put it on the wall instead of buying 10 gallons of paint at once?
I always recommend that you go get a sample from either a big box store or Sherwin-Williams or Florida Paint. They will always be able to give you a small sample, either in a quart sample or in the little 2-ounce samples that you can get from the big box stores. And put that on your wall because it will look different from the little chip that you're looking at.
Because it's amazing the lights from the stores.
Absolutely.
And people
Absolutely.
make, in my view, the biggest mistake people make in painting, you tell me if I'm wrong, is choosing the wrong color because it looks so much different from that chip and all that.
Absolutely. I have a customer currently that we're painting actually today. She's been through 3 colors and we finally got the right color. So it looked different on the sample.
Amanda Kelley from Kelley Painting Services, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having me.
sharing all this information. And thank you for watching Around the House today. Be sure to catch more information on our newsletter and our YouTube channel by going to aroundthehouse.tv. Until next time, we will see you around the house.